My advice to anyone starting out, virtual is great, but you're really going to learn a ton from being in home and in the field. There's less sales resistance. There's more trust built. And really, it's a great place to start for anybody coming in.
All right, Grady Polson here, Family First Life. Excited to be on here with Mr. Kerry Glass, joining us from Jacksonville, Florida. Kerry's got a unique background, which you're going to love hearing because I've interviewed a lot of people and talked to a lot of successful people. And Kerry, you have the most, I'll use the word, in my opinion, the coolest previous career of anyone that I've ever interviewed. And, you know, as you evolve in age, things in your needs and life changes, but we're so honored to have you as one of our, as an agent that works with us and what you've done and who you're now helping and all the great things. But Kerry's he's coming out the gate swinging. He's selling a significantly high level, big goals this year from a personal production standpoint, building a team as well, and does it all virtual, which is one of the turning points that's happened in the past few years, I believe, in all of the country, if not the world, but especially here in the insurance industry, as people I ran 2,000, 3,000 appointments in person. I love doing it, but the world has become significantly more comfortable with making purchases and decisions and trusting people in a virtual environment, whether it's Zoom or telesales. And Kerry's capitalizing on that. And it's exciting to see him what he's doing. It's exciting to see the agents that he's coaching. And it's an exciting opportunity for anyone out there that's looking into insurance as an opportunity for them to do better for their family in 2023 and beyond. So, Kerry, without further ado, I want to pass it to you, man. Give us some backstory. I'd love for people to learn about you and how you found us, and we'll jump into some more high level stuff after that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go a little deep here, maybe a little deeper than you've heard other people go. But, Grady and I talked a little bit before this, and I think it's going to provide more value for everyone listening and watching if I tell you the full story here. So back up, before insurance, I had no sales experience whatsoever. I was a DJ. That's what I did for 12 years. That's how I got paid. And then COVID happened. Well, guess what? I couldn't work. I was living in San Diego, California. I wasn't allowed to work for like 18 months. Kind of waited around for like a year, waiting for the world to open back up. Nobody knew what was going on. And I was like, okay, I got to figure out something else because this is not happening. And I'd be damned if, sorry if I can say that or not.
You can say damn. It's a kid joke. Damn is fun.
Okay. I'd be damned if I'm deemed non-essential again in my life. I have to be able to provide for my family. So I found insurance, and I had no idea that this industry existed. I had no idea how it paid. I was just completely oblivious. I started with a practice company, was there for about 9 months. I was a captive agent, and it didn't go too well. It was a good boot camp. I got beat up a little bit, got good on the phones, I guess. But, in my 9 months there, I only made like $10,000, and most of that all got charged back. So after a year of not working, plus, trying to make it work in my first insurance job, I accumulated about $100,000 of debt, which it's crazy to even say or speak out loud. I used to not even be able to talk about it at all because it was super embarrassing. That wasn't me. So moved from California to Florida, not really by choice, but because we had to. I had no other options. I'm 37 years old at the time. My fiance, we moved in with her mom in her condo in Florida. Talk about humbling. They definitely thought I was probably crazy because I was still trying to make insurance work at the time. Thank God I found FFL, and I'll get to that here in a second. But basically, I was at such a bad point. Like, I couldn't afford groceries. I couldn't even afford to pay her mom rent. And it was a really scary, awful place to be. The point in telling everyone this is, if I was $100,000 in debt and in that kind of situation, looking at a girl saying, hey, will you marry me? Her mom, like I said, probably thought I was crazy. If I can make that work with all that stacked against me, and the fact that we do buy leads and stuff, there's no reason why you can't make it work as well. That's the reason I get into this from the start. Fast forward to me starting with FFL, I was introduced by an agent who's no longer here, but he connected me with Bowen Sweeney, Kevin Lauterbach, shout out to you guys. and they got me up and going. You know, my first week was a huge, great first week. And you know, obviously when you first start, you don't have everything figured out. But I started mid-September of 2021. By January of 2022, I just hit the ground running.
That's awesome,
So
bro.
quick intro, long story short.
No, great story though. Great story. So how long, let me go back. How long you been with your girl?
We've been together about 4 years.
4 years. So you were there first. There was a fun life. Then there's like, what are we going to do? Then there's like, we're going to start this new life. We have to humble ourselves, bet on me, right? I always joke my best sales pitch of my life is my wife, right? Without her, I'd be a mess. I'm sure she brings you up and keeps you up, which is the power of having partnership, right? And to see now what you're doing, I mean, I couldn't imagine how proud she is, man. It's just and you do it together, right? Does she support you as well in the business?
Yeah, absolutely. So she started off selling as well at first, but like I said, we were in such a bad spot. It was tough to both of us get leads. I had a little bit more experience than her, so I was a little better on the phones. I was able to get more sales, and it kind of just turned into her like, well, you know what? Why don't I just book for you, fill up your schedule, you have a full day, and then see what we can make happen. It's turned out to work. I mean, it's worked out great, obviously. So we found a system that works for us, and I don't know, it's been amazing.
That's awesome. So now, did you sell in home at all, or was it only virtual?
I started off in home in Jacksonville. I was running here at first. You know, my first week, I protected 7 families, which was great. And it was a little hit or miss here. I still didn't have everything figured out. I didn't really have people around me that were selling. So Bowen and Kevin, they got an Airbnb in where were they at? They were in Tampa, Florida. Here's another crazy part. Like my credit cards were maxed out, completely maxed out. Like I was robbing Peter to pay Paul just to keep like the interest down, right? Okay. So I was trying to get my credit limit increased. I couldn't. And then basically I had to take out a small business loan or request a loan. So I got $5,000 to give me enough money to get down to Tampa, to buy my first leads, to put faith and trust in this system, put my faith and trust in Kevin. They taught me how to sell in the field. And then that really just made everything click. My advice to anyone starting out, virtual is great, but you're really going to learn a ton from being in home and in the field. There's less sales resistance. There's more trust built. And really, it's a great place to start for anybody coming in.
I agree, man. I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, it's just, they can hang up on you too quick. You know, if every time I sat at the kitchen table, they could just throw me out the front door, it would have been a different situation. But hold on. Oh, you need to think about it. Perfect. One second. Let me call my underwriter. Quick, I just need to verify that that's okay. You know, that I need to think about it. Yeah, I need to verify if you're allowed to think about it, because this is you opened a case file with our company. We need to resolve it. Right. So that's cool, man. I mean, it's cool and it's not cool. I mean, but it's also a testament of whom you are. Right. And it's probably, there's levels of determination, and there's levels of things that people choose to, what is a great line? You can tell the size of a man by the wall that gets in his way, right? Or woman, right? You can tell the size of a person, right? And to go maxed out credit cards, living with future mother-in-law, and I'm going to figure out a manufacture a small business loan just to get money for leads. And then you fast forward. I mean, you couldn't tell that person then that this is what life was going to be like, but that person then made the decision to give that person today the life that you have. And that's the thing that saddens me about so many people in entrepreneurship or in small or in business, is they let small things. I bought $300 worth of leads and I only made 1 sale. Wait, you made a sale? Yeah, but I thought it was supposed to make 300 sales. Like, what? Who told you that? What videos you're watching? We'll delete them right now. But like, you have to have perspective, and it's just, Kerry, that's awesome. I mean, it's awesome to see you now, right? I didn't want
right.
Pretty stressed back then. So okay, so lock in Tampa full time early last year. Tell me about last year. What highs, lows, ups, downs? How'd selling go for you?
I mean, this is just a continuous journey, and there's so many level ups along the way. But what really got me going was I was using aged mortgage mailers. I was buying 100 a day, I think it was, and we were texting them every single morning. And out of those text appointments, I would get 1, 2, maybe 3 appointments booked. So for mathematicians out there, it's about $200 a day in leads. But you know, the mortgage turnaround, the premium applied ratio is really good on those. So that was allowing me to figure out mortgage, how to run mortgage presentations, how to talk to these people, and do it in kind of like a safe way with a nice ROI. From there, I got to gain my confidence, and then I just went full blown mortgage. I've been running mortgage leads ever since, and that seems to be kind of my bread and butter.
It's great. Now, are you to transition into selling? Now, are you doing one call closes, or are you booking appointments?
We'll do both, mostly booked appointments, and if we've got a window, then we'll do one call close.
Okay. But before we get there, I want to get into selling. What's your schedule like? Right. Cause like I always, new agents are like, well, when do I dial? I'm like, all the time. Like, but then it's difficult, for me, like I had my routine. I'd get up, I'd exercise, I'd get my salad from Costco, my 2 LaCroix, my 2 energy drinks, a protein bar, and I'd get in the car and I'd come home at 10 PM. Right. Like, but I knew like throughout that process, my habits helped me establish what I like. It made me comfortable. Like I had comfort in my habits. I'd imagine a guy who's producing at your level. What are your daily or weekly habits now that you've instilled that kind of get you up and focused?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been said 100 times before, but there's a reason it's said. Honestly, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't without my daily habits. Like, if you're not comfortable with doing that, no one is at first. It's not fun. Nobody wants to wake up at 5 a.m. when they don't have to. They want to sleep in, roll out of bed, and just go to work. But I'm telling you, like for me at least, and I think a lot of people will agree, that was the catalyst to my success, is getting up before everyone without any outside distractions in the world. You have that time to yourself. You can put good thoughts in your brain. So for me, I was listening to FFL podcasts. I was listening to Grady. I was listening to Andrew Taylor, and I was listening to all these success stories. And I literally was a maniac trying to figure this out, but listening to how these other people were doing it. And so with that, that lets me focus on the day in front of me. And my day hasn't even started yet, really, as far as the phones go. So I'm home by home by 7, shower, eat, on the phones by 8 a.m. A lot of top producers start at 7:30. To me, it seems a little crazy, but it does work for them. But for me, 8 a.m. till noon, non-negotiable. And then back on the phones again about 4:30 to 8.
How many days a week?
I'm doing Saturdays now as well. Saturdays are just a half day. So Monday through Friday, full schedule. And then Saturdays till like 2 to 4 o'clock.
It's good. I mean, it's important to like overcome, like it's important to overdo it in the beginning. Like, and if I could advise any agents, like, yeah, you've had a very comfortable life. That's why you don't like the way your bank account looks. That's why you don't like the apartment you live in. That's why you don't like the car you drive. And that's why you don't like the area you live in. So like get massively uncomfortable with work for a period of time. Is it 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years? I don't know what you need, but like for you like, I love hearing you take Saturdays off. Why? Because you're engaged, right?
We're married. Yeah. We're married now.
So you're married.
Yeah.
It's all work and no play, makes you go crazy. Right. But like, you have to have some sort of like payoff. There has to be, and that's okay. Like this workaholic, 140 hours a week, sleep 3 hours a night, doesn't live that. You can't do that forever. So like for any new agent that's out there, we work very hard and we work a lot. You hear he's on the phones at 8, he's up early, he's exercising, he's doing 8 hours of dialing. And I'm sure you're dealing with agents and pending and all kinds of stuff from that 12 to 4 period of time. But like, if you treat this like a company you own, that you're going to make a significant level of money off of, you'll get paid like it, right? That's what Kerry does. And you see, and the results show. So I love hearing that you're structured that way, but then there's Saturday and Sunday, we chill, you go to the beach. I don't know, you work, just do laundry, all the, it's just,
yeah.
We would always go to brunch. Like that was always our thing. We go out to eat, whatever the kids, we get all kinds of French toasts. And, that was the reward. Is our dad didn't work and we focused, but 6 days a week, I'm all out. And that's how you build something. So, okay. So that's your schedule. Now, let's talk about, a script or presentation, whatever you want to go through. I'd love some sort of like specifics. What are some glassisms? Like, what are the things you're saying that's, it cannot be unique to you. It can be someone you heard from somewhere else, but what do you say to make these sales happen? Because you said your goal is to do 600 families this year, and that's Hall of Fame and a half. And that's awesome. And it's a fun number to say. It's a fun number to go towards. If you hit it, great. If you go past it, great. If you miss it by 10%, life's still good, right? So what are the things you're doing in selling that's helping move these clients over the line?
Yeah. So, I mean, it really just comes down to, how you talk to people, make them, make yourself relatable, kind of get a little personal, not too personal, get more personal towards the end, just being relatable. But I mean, I'll go through my script with you here, just touch on a few things. So yeah, basically I do mostly set appointments. So with that, it sounds a lot like this. So yeah, so this is Kerry here at the Mortgage Protection Office, just scheduled to go over this information with you. So got a few minutes. All right, perfect. So I'll make this quick for you, Grady. My job is really simple. So I work with a lot of the top rated insurance companies across the country, Mutual of Omaha, John Hancock, Americo, Aetna. I'm sure you're familiar with some of those. They all usually say yes. And then I'll say, perfect. So keep in mind, Grady, I don't work for the insurance companies. I work for you. That right there is key. I switched that right there. That flipped the switch with people that gain way more trust immediately. And then I'll say, my job here is just to do the shopping around for you, make sure that we find you the best coverage for the best price, but most importantly, something we can get you qualified for. Now, Grady, let me ask, what were you thinking when you filled out this form? What's your goal here with the mortgage protection? And that gives them a chance to open up, and then you can really hone in on their needs. Are you looking for a spouse, significant other? Do they have kids? And that'll start giving me an idea of what carriers to look at, what products might be the best fit. If I need to sell them on the living benefits, or maybe they're an IUL client or whatever, and then take it over from there.
Okay, that's great. So they say something, they open up, then what's next? So I want to protect. I'm afraid if I die, my wife's going to lose the house.
Right, absolutely. So Grady, that's pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do is just go through a quick needs analysis. I'm going to ask a few basic questions. Depending on how you answer, that's just going to tell me what company would be the best fit for you. Once I know what company I'm looking at, I'll show you a few options with them, explaining how those work. And then the biggest thing we'll do is if we find some numbers here that you like, we'll submit a quick application just to see if we can get you qualified. So it looks like here you got a total loan amount for $150,000. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And is this a new purchase or refinance?
A refinance.
Okay, excellent. And then what is your, is that a 30-year term?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And what does your new monthly mortgage payment look like?
$1,700.
$1,700, beautiful. And so Grady, if you were to turn around and sell that house today, do you know how much you might be able to sell it for?
$400.
$400, awesome. So you do have quite a bit of equity built in the home. So not only are we looking at protecting that house, but the most important thing is we want to make sure that equity is protected because that is going to be one of your largest assets. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. And then just continue moving on through there. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, no, I keep going. I'm play ball today.
All right, awesome. So at that point, I just go through the whole needs analysis, verify age, verify health.
Okay.
I really kind of slim that down. So I'll do that with you then. Grady says here you're 52. Is that right?
Yep.
You don't really look 52. You look kind of great for a 52-year-old, but typically I'm not on Zoom. Anyway, as far as your health goes, do you have any kind of medical conditions, take any prescriptions for anything?
Just some high blood pressure.
Okay, basic stuff. Ever had cancer, heart attack, stroke?
No.
Okay, awesome. Good deal. And are you currently working, retired? What does that look like?
I'm retired.
Retired. Good deal. Awesome.
I'm still working because I'm 52. I'm still working.
Yeah, well, you never know.
It's true.
So, okay, great. So with that in mind, Grady, what would you say you're bringing in per month? Just a ballpark.
Oh, about 3,900.
3,900. Excellent. And at the end of the month, once you pay all your bills, utilities, all the fun things you like to do, about how much would you say you're left with?
Well, probably about 400.
400. That right there is key for me too, because that person has about $400 left. So I don't want to show them anything too crazy. I don't want to make them insurance poor. That gives me a good idea of what might make sense for them. And they'll still have money left over at the end of the month if they have, a flat tire, whatever the case may be. Recently just started using that one and it's worked out pretty great. So then from there, this is how I find out about insurances, which this is new as well that I've started using. So Grady, most families I speak with, they usually have 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 life insurance policies in place. How many do you currently have?
Just one through work.
Just one through work. Awesome. So that's great. Most people I speak with usually do have coverage through work. Do you know if you retire, do you take that with you or do you lose it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, 9 times out of 10, you will lose that benefit. It's kind of like having a company car. Once you leave that job, you can't take the car with you, just like that insurance. So you kind of, I like that one because it frames an idea of how much insurance you should have. No one really knows, they're going to feel like they need more insurance if they don't. And then, that helps open up that question for more conversation.
I was
So
actually,
then from there, I'm like, all right, Grady, last couple things here. So heaven forbid, if something were to happen to you today, who would be responsible for that house and everything tomorrow?
my wife.
Your wife. I'll have to say, okay, great. And would she try to stay in the home or would she just need some time to sell it?
I hope she could, but I mean, it's a big house, so I don't know if she'd need all that, but I'd like her to be able to.
Right, for sure. Yeah, definitely not a fun topic to have at the dinner table, but all right, just curious there. And then do you guys have any children in the equation? Any adult kids?
Yeah, I'm 52. I got 2 adult kids and 2 in the house still.
Okay, awesome. Big family. So I guess if something were to happen to both you and your wife, would the kids move into the home or would they just need time to sell it?
Oh, they probably don't want to come back. They probably would. Yeah, we probably just want to sell it.
Awesome. Okay, fair enough. Well, Grady, I got enough information here. Give me just a few minutes. I'm going to run some numbers. See who's going to be showing you the best rates.
Okay.
And then, from there, I'll figure out what might make the most sense for them. Based on his age and everything, I would probably start off with Americo. I would probably go payment protector continuation. Explain how that works to them, pitch
Will you
it.
explain
Typically,
those?
they want that larger
Will you
face
explain those?
value.
Because those are cool. Those are cool products that not a lot of people know a lot about. Will you explain those?
Yeah, so basically you're getting a term, it's a depreciating term. You're going to get 15, 20, 25 years on it. After the term is up, it converts to a whole life insurance policy. This is great because it's looking out for the client. It's making sure they're protected for the rest of their life. A lot of people don't think about that. CBO is awesome, but usually after 50, it's pretty unaffordable. Even mid 40s, it can get pretty high depending on the mortgage amount. Term products, they're great too, but it terms out. Also, the cool thing about the payment protector, it's like a fraction of the cost of a regular term product. So I don't know how they have this product. I think it's awesome. I recently just started using it and the premiums on it are way more affordable and price friendly for people.
That's awesome. It's cool. So,
Mhm.
and so in my situation, would you use a 15?
Well, it'll tell me what I'm allowed to use. Based on the high blood pressure, I mean, I'm going to try to max it out. So if I could get 20, I'll go 20 just to make sure the family's covered for a longer period of time. But if not, then the 15.
Cool. Awesome, man. So how do
Yep.
you so keep going? Like, is there how do you, I mean, we'll go quote, show me some
Well,
options, and then how do you solidify?
yeah, sure. So I have them write down, hey Grady, on that paper, write down 150,000, beside that 100,000, beside that 75,000. So what I'm showing you is 100%, 75%, 50% of your mortgage. And then I'll just run through the numbers with them. And then straight into the close, I say this, and this has actually worked out great. I think my close or the close that our team is using. Oh man, I almost don't want to give this out. It's too good. No. All right, Grady. So like I said, the biggest thing we're doing is just making sure we can get you approved for the coverage. Granted, you do get that approval. America is going to mail out a policy first thing tomorrow. That way you can sit down, review the fine line print along with the policy details and benefits, just to make sure this is a good fit for you and the family. Now, Grady, if we are able to get you qualified here, which one of these makes the most sense for you financially, but also for Mary and the rest of the family so they don't lose that home when something does happen?
It's good. Middle
And
one.
then drop the mic. No. Then they usually, they'll pick one or they'll be in between. And I always try to come in from like an advisor role or like, I don't go thinking like I need a sale. I don't go like, what is the term? You know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So I try to put them first and say, honestly, I would recommend starting off here. Let's just see if we can get you approved. If you do, we can always add or adjust coverage later. Biggest thing is just getting that yes or no from the company. Does that make sense? And most people are willing to go forward with just seeing if they can get approved. But as you're, going through the application process, that's when I really start to loosen up, really start talking to people, become more personable, talk, do all the small talk, oh, dogs, cats, grandchildren, job, all that good stuff. And by the end of the application, I've made a new friend, I protected a family, and it's a win-win for everybody.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a lot of it is when you show numbers, you'll get clients that want to buy with their heart, not with their wallet. And you're like, I know you like, we show 400 a month to make 200 seem smaller. And they're like, no, I want that one. And you're like, listen, you have 430 free cash flow. I don't suggest that. No, we'll make it work. I understand you'll make it work, but because you're like, fast forward 3 months, $1,200 has come out of the household and there comes a chargeback. So it's like, okay, here's what we're going to do, Mary. Let's do the 200. And then we'll revisit this in 6 months. And then if you want to do that. So I love how you say I address it as an advisor, because that's our job. Our job is to guide them. If they knew how to buy insurance or had it, we wouldn't be on the phone, right? That's their job.
Mhm.
So let's keep going. I want to hear like the last minute, because that's always an important, crucial part. How do you solidify your relationship with them, your position? If anyone else calls, like, how do you tie it down with, with duct tape? That would be,
Yeah.
how do you tie it
So
down with a bow?
I just adopted this new technique that it's been working pretty great. I think my chargebacks are pretty well handled now with this. So, the whole time we're talking to these people, we're saying approval, 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 if you can get approved.
Okay.
And I think that if you're putting someone through a full application and then, oh, congrats, you're approved, it kind of took away all the, oh no, can I get approved or not? It kind of almost makes the presentation seem a little like BS, or a joke. So I don't even let people know that they're approved anymore. At the end, I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll have an answer here in about 24 hours or so. So just look out for my call and then I'll update you on the next steps here. If we can't get you approved, no worries. I am a broker. We can find you some coverage with someone else. And I kind of let them hang on it for a little bit, let them wonder if they're going to get approved, make them want to be able to get approved. So take that away from them and then call them back in a day or two. Hey, Grady, congratulations. You were approved for that coverage. That's awesome. You're going to get your paperwork in about 10 business days. As soon as you get it, review it. If you have any questions, give me a call. I'd be more than happy to look over this with you, make sure you understand everything in your policy. And then just make sure you save my name and number because I will be your agent and broker moving forward. Also, if you could, when you get that policy, write my name and number really big on the front of that. So that way, when something does happen, your family knows exactly who to call. And then from there, I think that's really about it, man. I try to get referrals. I'm still not the best at asking for referrals, so I'm ironing out those kinks, but that's definitely the next step that I need to jump into.
Yeah, that's great, man. I did the exact same thing that way, because I thought of it like from a recipe. Like, you think about when you're buying something and you're like, we got to go check on it. And they call you back in 2 days and they go, we found it. You're like, you kind of in your head concoct this vision that they're like sitting there with like an open phone book, making phone calls for you or emailing people or talking to the other people in the warehouse. Can we find this widget? And then they come back, we got it. And you're like, well, I don't want it now. Like it's almost like you create this mechanism where they're like, well, okay, great. Like, oh, I'm glad you got the widget. I'm all right. I'll be right down to pick it up. Like,
Right.
and I thought the same way, because you're creating this. If we can get you approved, if we can get you approved, which option would be most comfortable for you if you were approved? Hey, you're approved. And so I respect both methods. A lot of people go, we tell them immediately. I went your way and it served me very well. And so just stick to what works, right? Because it'll come through in your tone. It's underlying like subliminal messaging that you're saying will mirror what you're trying to create. So if it's working for you, keep doing whatever you guys are doing. If it's working, if it's not working, we'll copy Kerry because he's doing a good job. So, so now any tie downs, any emails, thank you cards, staff call, what do you do to kind of make yourself feel bigger?
Yeah, so I mean, with the follow-up, I just send them, policy detail information. Kind of like if anyone's not using Zippo, that's a great tool I started using recently. It's got a verified producer profile where you can send your credentials, but they also have this great follow-up text, which I don't have Zippo send it. I've just copied what that template looks like, and I send a personalized text to these people saying, I am your agent. If anyone contacts you, redirect them to me. Here's how much coverage you have. all that good stuff. I did write thank you cards for a little while, but my hands just can't take it. It's just a lot of writing, and I don't know, man, it's just tough. But if you know a good service, I'd love to know.
So here's the trick. There's a trick is you get a card, you make it look nice, you do it on Vistaprint, you type out the stuff and you just sign it. That's all I did. I used to I would have, well, I'm being honest, I'd have Jade handwrite it and then I would sign it. And then I got to the point, she's like 2 hours a week handwriting thank you cards. That we pivoted, we printed, it gets the same result, right? Them getting something in the mail from you that costs $1 on Vistaprint and whatever, I don't know what stamps cost, 52 cents now, $2. I don't know what stamp, and the stamp investment and that time, that just takes it up a notch. It takes, and so for all of you watching, like, I love selling, but I hate having chargebacks, and anything you can do to make your business feel bigger than just a one-man shop in the beginning is only going to pay dividends to the person when, Troy Stevenson calls and says he's your manager following up on the policy that you just got. No. Kerry's my guy. I don't know who you are, Troy. He didn't mention you. I'm with Kerry, right? Like that, those solidifying factors, whether that happened 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 5, when we can make Dolores and Betty and Steve feel more comfortable with us, they're not looking other ways. They're not going to shop. They'll call you and go, hey, I saw this ad on TV. Yeah, no problem, Betty. Those are guaranteed issue policies. That's where they start you. They're also banded. So every 5 years, they double in price. Did you see the fine print at the bottom? Yeah, that's where they hide all that, right? So they call you for that information. So, but if you're doing good, keep doing good. But if you can squeeze it back in, make them on Vistaprint and send them. But
I'm definitely gonna take you up on that one, because I think that is super valuable, and it's worth the time. We get compensated very well for what we do, and that's the least we could do for these clients. And you're going to build a lasting relationship, and it could lead to referrals down the road as well.
Put 3 business cards in there. I had a guy who used to send brownies. It was $9 service from, I don't know what, I don't remember what it was called. I'll find it if you want to know. But every client, he'd click it $9, and then they'd text him, say, thank you so much for the brownies. So he's putting $10 in, I was putting $1 in, but it's that tiny little mechanism to make the client feel like, oh, they appreciate me. This is bigger than just a guy. Who'd you buy insurance from? The daughter comes over. Who'd you buy? A guy on the phone. He called me. You bought insurance off a guy off the phone, Mom? What are you doing? No, look, he sent me a card. You in a suit, looking nice, thumbs up by the ocean, whatever, this elevates your business practice.
I can just see that guy talking to his accountant. Have you seen the annual brownie bill this year?
That's right. That's right. So awesome, bro. Any final things you do to solidify sales? And then I want to pivot.
Really that's it. I just think having people wait to make it feel like it's real, and it's not just kind of a gimmick to get them through an approval process, that does wonders. And just letting them know that, we do need to establish some trust here, because at the end of the day, when something does happen, I'm going to be the person delivering that check to your family. My job doesn't end here. The real work ends when something does happen, and I'm going to be the one talking to insurance companies, making sure that they get every single penny that they deserve.
Love it, man. Awesome. I appreciate that, Kerry.